So we talk a lot about gear and we talk a lot about rigs, but what we don't talk about is like the actual overland trip. So we're gonna run through some of our favorite options on where you can camp on your next overland journey, no matter if you're close to home or across the country. There's some great kind of like dependable ways that you can find a place to sleep at night. That's as nice as this. So a relatively new option in the last couple of years that we've been using a lot is Hipcamp. There's sites all over the country, everything from like a corner of somebody's yard to a spot in a field to some really nice campsites in the woods like this. You can search on their map function, you can search by region. They even have filters like the amenities and if it's close to water, etc. We have had some great sites all over the country. Matter of fact, on like some holiday weekends, that's kind of my go-to now when campgrounds and dispersed camping is probably going to be pretty packed and popular. We're currently on the Blue Ridge Overland Gear Hipcamp. We've got 4 sites here, 1 or 2 that are big enough for just one vehicle, a couple that are big enough for small groups, and it's about 100 yards from our shop. We have tons of folks come through that may want to visit the store, come in for one of our events, or we had some people last night that were just on their way from Florida to Canada, needed a quick place to camp. The local National Forest campground was full, so they ended up here and had a really great time. I've been to hip camps that had like outdoor showers and even like laundry facilities. I've been at hip camps that were essentially dispersed camping, like our site here, where you're on your own, bring all your gear. You just don't have to worry about people rolling up on you or something like that. So check out Hipcamp. Some of our favorite sites the last couple of years have come from there, and it's a really great option, and you meet some really cool people. The hosts are usually obviously welcoming because they want people on their property. So some of my favorite campsites that I've ever stayed at across the country, pretty much anywhere I've been, have been dispersed sites. You can look at national forests, state lands like wildlife areas or state forests, obviously BLM land. There's some other options out there. Now, the way you find these is, sometimes just straight up dumb luck. Recommendations, I use Onyx Off-Road, the app a lot, so those are marked or at least mentioned in a lot of the routes on there. And for me, a big part of the fun is kind of the exploration. Matter of fact, this site we're gonna visit, I had no intention of camping up here, but was fishing and literally drove by it and was like, wait, is that a site down there? And it's really awesome. Anytime folks come to visit, I recommend if they want to, camp dispersed to check this out. So you may be wondering, like, why is Rick going on and on about dispersed campsites? Well, let me tell you why. This is why. So this is a dispersed site that's actually not that far from the shop, but it's in one of my favorite areas. So it's kind of cool because you actually go through another campsite to get down here, but you've got room for a couple of trucks, nice foliage, some big mature trees here, and there's a gorgeous creek that you can probably hear just on the other side of the truck. A great fire pit. Let's say though, not all dispersed sites are created equally. You may have a lot of competition on like weekends, especially holiday weekends, but this one is a gem. Great fire pit, great setting log, relatively flat. The creek over here, and close enough to the forest road that it's not a long time to get back on the road, but you're not going to see any like lights or hear a lot of traffic throughout the evening. You got to check rules for like different public lands, whether it's state, national, BLM, what have you. But most places that have sites like this, it's first come, first serve. Free to camp. You may have like a use fee for the particular area. Be sure that you know your local laws on that stuff, but not only take advantage of these, but be sure to take care of them. This one has obviously been like well kept. I don't see any trash actually, except somebody left a nice donor marshmallow roaster that has really seen some stuff. But otherwise, there's like no sign of man down here. I'm quite proud of whoever's been using this. And yeah, we try to do the same. And of course, there's always the option to stay in a campground, but much like dispersed camping, not all campgrounds are created equal. You've all seen these nightmares of like people on top of people, no trees, you're practically camping in a field, there's bugs everywhere, but there are some real gems out there if you know where to look. This is a National Forest hosted campground that's like 40 minutes from the shop. There's 20 sites in a loop, but it's in the trees next to a trout stream. There's pit toilet houses scattered throughout, but take a look around. We can't see any campers and you can barely hear them with the sound of the stream, the birds, and everything else. Of course, you're not out like in the wilderness, but you have some great pros here. It's nice and flat. This one has pea gravel. There's a lantern hanger. There's a great picnic table. It comes with some firewood. There's a grill top on a fire pit. So let's just be honest, even though it may not feel as overlandy or rugged, this is really nice, especially if you're maybe just coming through the area and need a quick place to crash for the night. You don't have to worry about like the condition of the site. So that's some of our favorite places to find a nice place to sleep when we're on overland trips. You've got your dispersed camping, which obviously is optimal. You know, it's out in the wilderness. It's usually right off of your route, enjoying those public lands, but not always available. You can go to a private campground. We're a big fan of like some of the national forest campgrounds, like the one that we visited. It's small, it's really nice right there on the water. They're usually, you know, not gonna be super commercialized. Or you can hit a Hipcamp up where there's all kinds of different options for kind of like the camping experience. So no matter where you roam, hopefully you feel more equipped to find a good place to like park for the night and catch some Z's, enjoy a nice night around the fire. This is kind of the way that we do that, no matter if we're playing a trip local or on the fly across the country. So if you've got any other tips for finding cool campsites on your overland journey, drop them in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and check out BlueRidgeOverlandGear.com.